All right, let's get this party started. Here we go. So I wrote a song today. Uh, actually, I think this is one of my better songs as we transition into a little bit of talking about David Schroeder. And like, I know I compared him last time to Sarah, but they're all kind of the same, right? But apparently, David has this going on.
He's a very Twinkie guy, the kind you don't take home to mother. He will never let your pants down once you get him off the streets now. He's a super twink, a super twink. He's super twink. Guy is pretty wild now. The guy's a super twink, the kind of guy you watch on OnlyFans. Yeah, the guy is pretty twinky. He's a super twink. He's super twink. Wow. Ah, He's a very special guy, the kind of guy you want to know on OnlyFans. Now, donate to my PayPal because he's super twinking now. He's a super twinking, super twinkie. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Super Twinkie is all right. So I'm actually live. Just I'm replaying what part of I'm replaying what I did on Sunday in terms of David Schroeder. The focus of my last show was actually on Sarah Rachel Adams and the big scandal that's going on with her. And that's where I was yesterday. I mean, by the way, Stephen Cambion just did some epic live streams showing the full body cam footage of Sarah Rachel Adams and the whole thing that happened with the shrooms incident, right? So by the way, yeah, I would really recommend seeing them. Good morning. Actually, today is Wednesday, September 10th. I'm having my coffee, and this morning I was like, well, you know what, I think maybe I'll do a live stream and discuss, just kind of highlight David Schroeder, his portion a little bit more from Sunday. He has done a few live streams since I've done my live stream on Sunday. And one of the things that David's been saying, let me stop the screen share here. I don't know why I have to have it up like that, but hi, Andrea knows. Shoot, what did I do? I took myself out for a second. Hi, Andrea. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it looked like I was like replay. I am going to replace some of that stuff. I'm going to add some new stuff this morning, but I'm going to highlight what I did about David back then because I want to make sure that this part gets seen. I do actually, but again, I'm going to also show a little bit of his footage that he did yesterday, which I find really interesting. But yeah, last night Sewertown did a show. I missed it. I'm doing homework and stuff like that, and then the shows that I did watch were Stephen Cambion's shows. So I'm going to have to catch up on everybody else's response to what David Schroeder is doing. But one of the things that I do want to point out about David Schroeder is that he's telling people, and I'm going to show the footage here in a second, that I've got him blocked, and therefore he can't see what I'm doing. But apparently he seems to know that I'm doing commentary on him, or I'm adding him to my shows. And so I unblocked David here on YouTube. And by the way, even if I did block David on YouTube, he would still be able to see my video, which is where all my videos have been primarily, either here or like on Rumble. You can find stuff that I say, that I've done on David on Rumble. I do occasionally post on X about David, and I have tagged him in it. And if anybody's been blocked, it's David Schroeder. He's blocked me from being able to access his information. But here's the deal with being blocked on X, which I kind of like this about X. You can be blocked, but you can't comment on what it means is you can't comment on what that person is saying. You can still see their post. So I can still see his profile. If he ever said anything about me, I can still see it. The only way that you make it on X that you can't look at anybody's content is if you put your X file on private anyways. Like you just share with the people that are following you. You don't let the outside world see your conversation. By the way, Sophia Music does that. So, if you really want to say things to a smaller group of people, but not have it be in like largely public to see the defamation that you are saying about somebody. I'm just using in the context of Sophia Music, but that is the, that's the way, so David's sitting there on his channel saying that he can't see anything that I'm doing or saying about him is completely incorrect, and really kind of, he must think that his audience is ignorant enough to actually really believe that. So David acts like he's getting, which I also find interesting. Let me just point this out, that he's getting this from a third party, meaning that he is going on the reliance of other, people emailing him or contacting him saying what I'm doing on my channel in relation to him. So, which also shows that he's not verifying or vetting any of the information that other people are telling him if he's on his channel saying he's blocked and he can't see anything that I'm doing. So that's one thing that I want to point out. And I'm going to go ahead and, share a little bit of the things that he said, because, oh, great. That was me talking about, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and share David's recent video. And, I guess I should address the Twinkie thing. But actually, I address it really great in the footage that I'm going to show you about it here in a moment. But you know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and address the Twinkie thing first, and then show you a little bit of my footage, and then go ahead and show the other stuff about, you know, what David Schroeder's most recent commentary is, because we're definitely going to go through that. But I'm going to go ahead, because like what he talks about has to do specifically with this portion of my live stream on Sunday. Because again, my live stream wasn't specifically about David Schroeder. It was mostly about Sarah Rachel Adams, and she's in the title, right? But later on the show, I did talk about David, and I just want to make sure that on my channel here at Not My Rabbit Hole, that this material has a banner of its own for people to watch, because this stuff could be buried in the rest of that show if people don't watch that full episode. So I'm going to make sure that this video is dedicated to this portion of my show. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for a bit here. Is the name of that song, and the reason why I'm playing it is because, you know, it has come out. You know, there's been some investigations with some things that David's been doing online, and he loves to follow Twinks on X, and so there's all these, you know, different, you know, and a twink, by the way, just in case you don't know, is a guy who, you know, is of age, right? He's of age, could be 20, 21, whatever. But he looks, and you know, he's hairless. He's like a boy. He's like a 16-year-old. That's what a twink is. And I just want to bring this up to David Schroeder, because David Schroeder is telling people that I'm a porn star, which I'm not. Now again, you do know that I wrote on a couple scripts and blah 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 blah, and you know, all this kind of stuff. But you know, he says, oh, you know, you make your living by being a porn star, and I am besties with Barely Legal, and also I'm partying in Vegas. You know, obviously you can tell that I'm not, but apparently that's all I do is party in Vegas with Barely Legal people. And let me just point something out about Barely Legal. Barely Legal is a hustler franchise. There is no Barely Legal in Vegas. There's only one in New Orleans. So David's got that wrong. So there's no way I could be partying there when a Barely Legal type of business or club or anything like that doesn't even exist, right? And let's think about barely legal. Like, it's barely legal, meaning that it's legal. And because there are laws, you know, there are laws, like let's say in California, about with the adult film industry that they have to abide by, show paperwork or whatever, showing that the person is of age in order to be in that particular production. That is a you know, there. It's this, what's the difference between barely legal and a twink? See. What's the difference between barely legal and a twink, or people that like twinks? Because it's like, barely legal is the same thing as somebody being 25 that can pass off as being 16, look like they're young. And, you know, basically a twink is 25 years old and, you know, meant to look younger. So it's really no difference. There's no difference here in it. The word legal with barely legal is still there. It says legal for a reason. It doesn't say barely illegal. So, you know, when David is like this whole time been going, oh, barely legal, like I've got a problem or something like that, when he is really the person with the problem who actually really desires something like that sexually and is online actually going after it. And so I just want to point that out about David. And like, I also posted something on my if you're following me, you might want to look at my post. I don't know if I'm going to get to it right now, but there's a whole thing of his response about it. You know, he's been, you know, connected, you know, anyway, I could go on, but there is something that I want to do pertaining. Okay, so let me just stop that right there. And I want to show, let me find the actual screenshot of how David is, you know, following guys who are known as what you would call twinks on X. And they have also OnlyFans accounts. And just so I think it's important to show a receipt that, doing this is not criminal, right? I mean, David, uh, looking at these things, there's nothing criminal about it. I'm just scrolling to where I posted a lot yesterday. There's a lot of things happening within, I would, what you would call LARP world, people's identities being disclosed and things like this. So yeah, but there's a couple things I think I should point out. Yeah, here it is. Of posts that I made on my community page that to me they're like receipts on David Schurter. And Andrea says, you made a point. I never thought of it that way. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the way NAMBLA lobbies to be recognized as a normal organization is bizarre. Yeah, it is bizarre. I agree with you on that. That's always been an odd, like an advocacy for doing this to minors or children, because see, an adult child relationship has a power dynamic that's not equal. It'll never be okay because of that. And it's also immoral, but that's the main thing, is like the child can be groomed, can be conditioned, can be brought in, because you're always looking to the elder to teach you that to be what the barometer of morality or what truth is. That's my assessment on that too. So now what? Oh yeah, I'm going to my yeah, okay, here. So let's look at this receipt. Let's look at the receipt. So this is the receipt of like who he's been following. And this was posted by Dangerous Deranged David Schurter. And they write, David Schurter, 58 years old, is following a bunch of twinks with OnlyFans on Twitter. A twink is a young gay man with a slim build and youthful appearance. David Schurter claims to be a celibate Christian. Now we know where Schurter spends the donations he gets from idiots. And who's to say that that's not what he's doing? I mean, why can't he pay? I mean, like, obviously he's talking about how he can't pay his taxes for his house. He's always in some sort of crisis. I can't pay for food. But why is he following guys who have OnlyFans? And there's also documentation, that he was charged for solicitation of a guy in a park. So I'm like, he's actually done it in the physical world. And now he's following guys on OnlyFans. OnlyFans is legal, but we know that it's kind of like paying for pornography. Paying a sex worker is basically what OnlyFans can be like. It's not every situation. I mean, some people have OnlyFans for other reasons, but usually even culturally, when you say OnlyFans, you think of somebody getting nude in front of a camera and getting monetary compensation for it. Okay. So David has already criticized me, saying that, oh, she's judging me for being on OnlyFans when, she's, barely legal and a porn star and all this kind of stuff, hanging out with barely legal people. I'm the whore. She's calling me a whore. What a hypocrite, because she's a whore. So then he calls me a whore again. But it started with David Schurter. I could go back. I won't today. You can, if you want to take the time to go his channel and go back to. He started talking about me around February of 2024. So, no, wait, it was before that. maybe it was 2023. No, it's trying to think. Man, yeah, I guess it was 2024. Yeah. So it's almost been 2 years that David's been talking about me. So it would have been 2024. So you can go back all the way back there and start back up on his YouTube channel and see where he's called me a whore and a porn star over and over and over and over again. Okay. So I also want to let me find that there's something else that I want to look for here. Okay, let me stop the share. I don't know why it's not letting me scroll up. Oh, because I had actually gone on the thing. Hold on. But darn it took me out of my shoot. All right, I'm going to have to scroll some more. There was a few things that something else. Oh, yeah. I want to talk about, let me just talk about this for a second. I wrote on it. I don't need to really, it's just, I wrote this and it's a picture. If you want to go to my community post, you can. But I said, you're wrong again, David Schroeder. Famalam no longer exists. And you know what? Let me share it. I'll maybe this will make it better. Hold on. Let me do a screen share here. Okay, I wrote, you're wrong again, David Schroeder. Famalam no longer exists, and I was never a part of it. Because, like, the last few days, the day that he wore this outfit, because I screenshot it, do you notice how David's always waving his hands around and trying to, it's like he tries to convince people with his hands that he's not lying, that this is what the truth is, and he's always pointing. So he's like in mid hand wave here, trying to convince you of his fabricated lies. Trying to convince you that this is what's really happening to him, and how we're all guilty of what he claims. And so here it is. You're wrong again, David Schroeder. Famalam no longer exists. I was never part of it. Famalam, David's even said this. I never knew Isaac Cappy. Ever. I didn't know any of anybody here. No, I didn't know Sewertown. I didn't know Thomas Schoenberger. I didn't know Denise. When Isaac Cappy I knew who Isaac Cappy was. I was doing media and doing commentary about Isaac Cappy. All right. I knew who Nathan Stoltman was because I was on a show, but he denies that, which is ridiculous because I've approved that I was on it and people that witnessed it. And he backs David Schroeder. See? So when I look at this, for me as a person, I look at this and go, well, if he's lying and he's lying, and they're both kind of dissing me, what does that say? But Nathan Stoltman knew Isaac Cappy, had him on a show. Everybody else knew Isaac Cappy in this scenario. Not everybody, but David apparently knew Isaac Cappy. Thomas Schoenberger knew Isaac Cappy. Nathan Stoltman knew Isaac Cappy. But I didn't know Isaac. Apparently Corey Daniel didn't know Isaac Cappy back then. He knew of him, obviously. Kate Schneider knew Isaac Cappy. Alicia knew Isaac Cappy. Okay. But me, never. I didn't know him. I never spoke to him. I never had contact with them. There's nothing there. All right. But as you see in the later part of my sentence, however, your buddy Penny LaShepherd was. Okay. Penny LaShepherd, who David Schroeder knows, who David Schroeder has been on his show. David Zublik and Penny LaShepherd do a show. I think it's called Wake Now, and she does some Agent 19 show. But David's been a regular guest on their show. And their show, let me just say, is a 17th letter of the alphabet show and has been from the get-go. Oh my, how the circle keeps going around and round. Now, Penny LaShepherd was part of Famalam. I know this because Gio told me and has spoken about Penny LaShepherd. And I've had my own experience with Penny LaShepherd. Penny LaShepherd like all of a sudden, I think it was like 2018 was like contacting me, and I was like talking to her on Skype, I think, or something like that. And she loves to tell people that she's actually the little girl in Stranger Things. She's a Montauk girl. She's the real 11 because these scripts are always about a real person. And then she tries to convince you or whoever she's talking to, because she's trying to convince me that I also was a character in the series. I was the Winona Ryder character. I'm the mom, is what she was trying to tell me. David sits there and wears a Stranger Things t-shirt. He's mentioned Penny LaShepherd. This whole thing is just conspiracy theory bullshit and right-wing propaganda, and it stinks. And I'll tell you what, I've been calling this out way back when I found David Zublik's videos with Simon Parks. They were taking turnkey Asian cooking channels with 300,000 subscribers and taking them over and then putting their content up with, well, I think another guy named Charlie Parker, who's supposed to be ex-CIA, Mel Cole. Oh, and by the way, Tom Althouse. Boy, do I know who Tom Althouse is. Isn't it weird how you're all conglomerated in a tiny little nest? And let me point something else out surrounding Penny LaShepherd, David Scherter, Famalam, your Famalam associate, David. Brian Singh, who's connected to Sarah Rachel Adams and has been being a bully to Taj and threatening him because Taj is coming out with Sarah's grift. Brian Singh has also been several times on Awake Now with David Zublik and Penny LaShepherd. Isn't that an interesting coincidence? So I don't think David Scherter should be running around accusing anybody being associated with Famalam and then say those people are responsible for what happened to Isaac Cappy when he has his own affiliation to it. Look at your little buddy there, Penny LaShepherd. Why don't you put her under the spotlight, David Scherter, if anything you say is true? Whew. I feel better after saying that. I think I might take a break. Gonna play a little song for you. Let me pull it up. My Astro Record 690. Twinkie in the Sky.
Don't take home to mother. super twink. He's super twinkie. Wow. The guy is pretty wild now. The guy's a super twink. The kind of guy you watch on OnlyFans, yeah. The guy is pretty twinkie. He's a super twink. He's super twink. Wow. Ah, ah, He's a very special guy. The kind of guy you want to know on OnlyFans now. Donate to my PayPal because he's super twinking now. He's a super twinking, super twinkie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, let me point out one more time about how young David Schroeder likes them, okay, and the consequences. Not point out one more time. Let me point it out for the first time. Really, see, yeah, he's following Twinks, right, and he's going on and on about how well, you'll see here in a minute. It's just really gross, but right here. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see. Make sure I have it on the right thing. Okay. Right here, I shared it also from Dangerous Deranged David Schroeder YouTube. It says David Schroeder admitted on video to molesting and beating the F out of his nephew, who is Cindy's son, when the little boy was 3 years old. When Cindy passed away in 2006, her obituary mentioned surviving family, including a brother. Her obituary mentioned every single surviving family member by name except David in his own sister's obituary. It's obvious that David Schroeder's family continued to harbor deep anger at him for having beaten and sexually abused his nephew, her son. David Schroeder is previously admitted to beating and molesting his 3-year-old nephew. And by the way, David Schroeder, if you are watching, just because you're telling people that I block you, I know you. This video is not blocked so much that you can see anybody on YouTube, even though you can't comment during the live stream. But actually, David Schroeder, I've unblocked you on your YouTube channel. So I'm giving you the right to come on in my chat and say something about what I am pointing out and showing receipts about you. Because if I'm wrong about you harming your nephew, or actually I've seen videos of David Schroeder still talking about his nephew, I don't know, 30 years later as a grown man, and saying horrific things like, if I ever had a family member who, wouldn't care if it was hit by a train, it would be him. Something like that. On his YouTube channel, saying his full name out to the public. The level of abuse that he's not only done to his mother online, not only the fact that he has restraining orders from the stepmother, that he is putting in this fake family narrative saying that his stepmother is communicating with Famalam about him with his past monitor on his channel. And I I don't know. I just watched a video by Aussie John, and he makes a great point where he says that there's so many people that are deep diving, researching David Schroeder. It's impressive to me. I don't have the time right now to deep dive that hard into David Schroeder, but they are finding just receipt after receipt after restraining order after court hearing, like videos of David in court defending himself against the people that got a restraining order on him in Washington. And he was also ordered for, like, I guess, mental help, and then he skips Washington and moves over to Iowa and continues. Maybe David really seriously needs to be on medication. And and then in the end, this is so perfect. It's so perfect in conspiracy world when he flips it around and goes, they're trying to say that I'm crazy because I'm telling the truth. They're trying, like that's the little foil of, no, I'm really sane. But look at David, look at his body and language. Verify his facts, because let me tell you something, everything that he said about me, you're not going to be able to verify, but you can verify that LARP or those accusations didn't originally come from David Schroeder. My God, not even the title of his book is original. Rabbit Hole. That has been, that is not an original title. There's nothing clever about it. There's nothing good. There's nothing whatever. Lewis Carroll created it, not David Schroeder. Rabbit Hole? Really? I've said that over and over again. And by the way, the fact that I called my channel Not My Rabbit Hole was I did not have David Schroeder in mind, nor did he was even on my radar. That's a cosmic coincidence. I can't stand liars. That's what Not My Rabbit Hole is about. David isn't special in me talking about him on my channel. David just fits in to the paradigm of the conversation. That's all. He's not special. This is not a reactionary live stream. This is exposing a two-faced grifter that is harming people, not only in real life with restraining orders, but on the internet. That's what's happening here, David Schroeder. Don't you think otherwise? And now I'm going to, I didn't play the right song. This one's short, while I look for the video I'm going to show of David Schroeder.
When I die and they lay me to rest, I'm gonna go to the place that's the sweetest bed. When I lay me down to die, I'm going up to the Twinkie in the, going on up to the Twinkie in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go when I die. Snack that I love best. Prepare yourself, you know it's a must. Gotta have a Twinkie if you wanna trust. Just saying, Lordy, I'm so spread. Gonna meet the Twinkie in the sky. Never been a sinner. I've got a sweet tooth. I got an orange sponge cake, a creamy truth. So when I die, don't ask me why. I'm going G up to the Twinkie in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go when I die. When I die, lay me to rest. I'm gonna go to the place that's the sweetest best.
I love that one. Okay, you know how that happened. I'm going to tell you. Those lyrics, I asked ChatGPT. I said, can you replace the lyrics to Spirit in the Sky with Twinkie and make it about Twinkies? And it came out. That's like verbatim. And then I spun a different, beat to it. I'll show you a couple more. Hopefully I'll show you a couple more before the I finish the stream. Hi, Sewer Town. I didn't get to join until later last night, but I'm gonna have to go back and watch your video. You may have played something that I'm gonna play today. I'm not family. I'm right. Exactly. You're not, neither am I. Okay. It's just ridiculous. It's really crazy. It's sad. It's really sad. Yeah. Okay, so I found the video, and I've listened to like half of it, okay, but there's stuff that he says right up in the front that I feel compelled to address today. I really do. Here we go.
Technical difficulties there, but I'm back. So they are doing everything they can. They're playing the same games as they always do with this child trafficking stuff. When I get done with this, I'll post it on my blog along with this. Right before I signed up and came on this, YouTube sent me my analytics for the week. Everyone who has a YouTube station.
How does he afford bottled water when he's like broke? I mean, at some point when you're as broke as he says he is, you're like having a big bottle of bottled water like that is a luxury. Just saying. Get a Brita, David. It'll save you money.
And at the end it says, "Oh, let's play a game." Thank God for marriage.
I have Brita. I'm sorry. I messed around there.
What was the most likes my videos got last
week? And you know what? Here's the deal. He's talking about his likes on his videos. I'm so glad it stopped right there because this is where I wanted to begin with. He's talking about how he has likes on his videos, right? And his views and everything like that, and his analytics. When it's bought. Actually, it's bought and paid for, and then at the same time, in many other videos, he says these are not my views, and he blames Daniel Dow for paying for his views. A guy who looks like he's doing a show from his mother's basement, but apparently he has the money to like pump David Schroeder's numbers up. Actually, ridiculous.
And my analytics say that the whole video about they're all in Sewer Town is on Isaac Cappy's Famalam along with my stepmother. If you go look.
So, and I just talked about this, right? I showed you. This is so great because he's talking about how his numbers are inflated on this particular video that mentions Sewer Town and this and that and me and everybody else in Famaland. It's all about the Famalam grift that doesn't exist, how the numbers have increased, how there's such an interest in this particular video I made, a reference to something that most people haven't even ever heard of, by the way, David, except for a certain small echo chamber of people on the internet. Really? And you're going to bring something back that happened in like 2019 as if it's like, and everybody's associated with it. Like you're going to brag that your numbers are up over it. Like who's paying for that, David? Who's actually behind you spreading this shit about people? I'm just curious.
I go look at my channel, just my channel, and look, it says I got 24 likes. But the analytics that I just did says that I got 104 likes on that video. So they're obviously fucking with my numbers. But I knew that anyway.
Okay, so he admits that they're messing with his numbers. So think about that. Why are they? He's admitting it right there. So who's doing that, and why that video, David? I would like to know. It seems a bit obvious, doesn't it?
How? Who knows? But they're trying to do the same thing with this bullshit as they're doing with the Jeffrey Epstein thing. You think they're coming clean with the Jeffrey Epstein? You feel like they're actually being honest about this?
So look how this is a technique that David does, and a lot of people do this. They take something that has nothing to do with this is a logical fallacy, actually. It's an association of something that has nothing to do with whatever you're really talking about. And because of that, the person who listens, or they think that the person who listens is going to it's going to give him creative, it's a shock value. Look how these people are compared to Jeffrey Epstein. It's a manipulation. It's not factual.
The Jeffrey Epstein thing? No. And they're not being honest about this either. And I have to thank.
Oh, David, you're the person who isn't being honest about this.
Hoax Wars. Personally, me, I believe who I was dealing with. I'll post the link. It's a long conversation. I believe who I was talking to in Hoax Wars was Doug Mesner. And Thomas Schoenberger is now sending me a lot of the information that I've gotten from Thomas Schoenberger.
Okay, so now it's Thomas Schoenberger again. It's Doug Mesner. Hoax Wars is Doug Mesner. The Hoax Wars that David is talking about is not Daniel Ryan Columbus Hoax Wars. That is somebody who cloned that channel and created its own channel, and now it's talking about David Schurter right now. It's weird, but he even has that wrong.
Sewer Town is right. I've determined that email is coming from Thomas Schoenberger. For some reason, he's narking himself out. I'm not quite sure why he thinks that's going to help him, but he's narking himself out. Sewer Town is right.
This is David's first realization of this, or this is the first time anybody's ever said that to him. I've been posting that and saying that since the get-go, that David over the past few months was reading posts by Sophia Music saying the stuff that David repeats on his channel while saying my full entire legal name over and over and over again, shown in screenshots. And now David wants to say that Sewer Town says it's Thomas. It's like this is a new revelation for him. I seriously doubt it.
It's Thomas Schoenberger who sent in the shit. And he's not coy about it at all. The first thing that gave me the indication that it was Thomas Schoenberger is this account seems fucking obsessed with Tara Joyce. Sent me this thing. Oh, Tara Joyce is.
You hear that? This account that obviously is Thomas Schoenberger, according to David Schurter, is obsessed with me. Well, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting?
Making fun of the prayer you just did in your live. Sent me the link.
Making fun of the prayer that he just did in the live. So whoever this is, which is I'm assuming is Sophia Music, telling him about me doing a prayer. So at least Sophia Music is watching my channel and keeping notes to provoke David. That's what's happening here. By the way, I'm going to show that part of my show right now. Let's show what he's talking about. Shall we? Let me find it here. Let's see. There it is. It starts about right here. Let me see. I like to, play one of his recent prayers and just, do some commentary on that. And what better prayer to show than one where he is wearing his Charlie Brown sweater? All right. Let's do it. And, yeah.
But with that said, I'm going to pray real quick.
Oh,
and then I'm going to end this. Father, Mother, we come to you.
Now, notice he does say father, mother, which, isn't really traditional. Like a lot of times we say father, mother, you are acknowledging like a divine feminine, but it's, again, it's new age.
In all of heaven, calling upon all of the angels. I'm calling on all of heaven. Please let people hear my words and be compelled enough to actually look into the information that I'm presenting.
Okay, I like to forgive me. I would like to interrupt and like speak to God too, if that's okay. I would, and I'd like to like just say to God, David really doesn't. These people that he, like me, like who wants to investigate, like I do not traffic children. I know you know that, God. But so, and David, I don't know if you know this, God, but David has been praying like this to you on YouTube, and he is using it to abuse other people. I'd like you to be aware of that, God.
The way for evil to thrive is for good men to do nothing. And I don't believe that the world is mostly evil. I think there's a lot of us out there that are good. We just don't know what to do. So help guide us, if you would, please. Help.
And God, I'm wondering, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this like what is this what doing good is? Is this what doing good is? Like what David does, like just making things up and calling people pedos when they're not. I'm just curious.
Guide me. I serve you willingly, gratefully.
God, is this serving you? Like, is what David Schurter does actually serving you?
Lovingly. You sent your son, our brother Jesus Christ, down, who taught us the word.
Is Jesus David's brother? I'm curious. And did he really teach David the word personally?
And lived a life that we are to emulate.
I mean, like, I know we all fall short, God, but I was wondering, like, is David Schurter like really emulating your will?
And I have done my best in my life in these 58 years to try and do my best to do what we were told. I think we're at the end. I think the ascension is.
Are we at the end, God? And does ascension, that terminology, have anything to do with you whatsoever?
Upon us. And I'm grateful that you're finally fulfilling your promises to us. And I say these things gratefully and lovingly in your son, our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. And that's it. So check out the blog.
Okay. Actually, that wasn't like the there are much ones worse than that, but we'll probably go on. But I just feel like I'd like to ask God about how like how he feels, how about is David Schurter really working with you to abuse and attack people on YouTube? I'm just curious about that. All right. Thank you, Andrea, for saying that I'm funny. I'm glad that is coming off humorous because I meant it that way. So sometimes I get a little too angry at him and I try to like pull back. Like just a few minutes, I was just like, I mean, like it's sometimes you have to sit back and like find the humor in this. I mean, come on, this is a podcaster's dream. David Schurter is actually in a weird way a gift to talk about him. It's just it's not fun when you are the target, right? So let's do just a little bit more. So maybe we'll take it back a beat because this is where he admits that the account that he is obviously Thomas Schoenberger. Well, it was Doug Mesner, but then it morphed into Thomas Schoenberger. Thomas Schoenberger is Doug Mesner. I don't know. Maybe they're the same person. I mean, there are rumors that he is Saint Germain. But anyway, I digressed. But let's just go back here a moment.
Fucking obsessed with Tara Joyce. Sent me this thing. Oh, Tara Joyce is making fun of the prayer you just did in your live. Sent me the link. Blah, 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 blah. And the only person I know who is totally obsessed with Tara Joyce is Thomas Schoenberger. He lives and breathes Tara Joyce for some reason. Personally, she's blocked me, so I don't see any of her shit anymore. Which,
yeah, David, like where did I block you? Because I didn't. I went back and checked my ex, and I had not even blocked you. Like, I have to double check again. Maybe I didn't look at it right, but I feel like I haven't blocked you. I had you blocked on YouTube. You have me blocked on YouTube, so I'm not able to respond to your allegations directly. I refuse to email David Schurter because, he uses people's emails as a weapon against them and then reposts them on his blog as to say, oh, look, they're attacking them when we're just people trying to ask you to cease and desist. He's even been sent cease and desist letters. He's also had restraining orders. I would say David is actually, if you really look at him, he is out of control and really a menace. Everything about what he does on the internet should not be allowed. It's not acceptable. There's something very unhealthy going on here. And I think that there should be an element of concern about it, just in himself. But what's interesting is in the shadows, he's got Sophia Music feeding him. I mean, basically, if you look at David, it looks like he may have run away from a state, a court requirement to seek, mental illness help, right? He was ordered to like maybe get back on meds or whatever. He leaves. You have this other person in the background sending hateful and defamatory allegations of people that he doesn't like. That there are people that Sophia Music has been talking about in for years before I even stepped in. Now I'm included in it, just like David's included us all into Famalam. It's, so he's being fed, obviously, right here in this video, he's admitting, and especially, and this pertains to me. This part of it pertains to me, where he is accepting content by email by Sophia Music, whether it's a sock or not. David is aware that it's him or saying that it is him. And so technically, if you look at it, Sophia Music is feeding into a mentally ill person and manipulating that person to go after the people that he has a problem with.
Thank God for small miracles, because I was sick of it. They can say whatever the fuck it is they want to say about me.
I mean, you guys want to, everybody wants to believe in, like, oh, what is this? What is this kind of manipulation? Because is this psychological warfare? Is this the psychological warfare? I mean, there is a little patch everybody shares between them in the group, right? Because psychological warfare, because physical wounds heal. I would say, let's be real here. I would say this could be looked into as being part of the psychological warfare taking place on social media by someone who is threatening lawsuits on the people that he's attacking.
I doubt there's 25 people in here. My last video didn't do shit too, and it has 186 people that actually viewed it. My last video. So you can't trust the numbers. They're fucking with my numbers. And why? Because they want me to be quiet about,
because they want you to look like you're more menacing to the targets than you really are, David. That's why they're messing with your numbers. Let me just explain that. I would say that that's the motivation, because you know what? They did the same thing to Denise Mattow before she disappeared on YouTube. And on that note, I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'm trying to think of like how I did do another song about Twinkies that I'm just going to play. I don't know if I want to publish it or not, but I guess I'm publishing it, and I'm publishing it here. YouTube is an asylum. Yeah. Yep. So, anyway, have a good day, everyone. It's Wednesday, midweek. And don't let these people, these crazies, can't let them get to us. Gotta make fun. Gotta share. Oh my God, I'm in the wrong area. Gotta share that Twinkie in the sky. Let me see if I can find the one that... which one was it? I know I liked it. Okay, it's this one. Enjoy.
When I die and they lay me to rest, I'm gonna go to the place that's the sweetest best. When I lay me down to die, I'm going up to the Twinkie and going on up to the Twinkie in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go when I die. I die. I'm gonna bite the snack that I love best. Prepare yourself, you know it's a must. Gotta have a Twinkie if you wanna trust. Just saying, Lordy, I'm so spry. Gonna meet the Twinkie in the sky. Never been a sinner, I got a sweet tooth. I got an orange sponge cake, a creamy truth. So when I die, don't ask me why. I'm going G up to the Twinkie in the sky. Going on up to the Twinkie in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go when Twinkies. I love it. Oh. When I die and they lay me to rest, I'm gonna go to the place that's the sweetest best.